Welcome to Unit 4 in our Common Classroom Area series. This unit we have a couple different things to look at. First we want to just take a pause, look at plurals and singulars, and one thing I see coming up is that the two can be mixed up a little bit. And I think some of the words are really common to use in plural, like beina and augen, and we sort of forget that they also have their singular form, bein or auga, or sometimes that can happen with har and hara. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. Then two words are coming up that I want to take a little bit of a look at because I think that in the unit they're not well explained. So we have Sporttreiben and trainieren, and they maybe are 80% similar, cover the same idea, and I think in the unit it just says they mean exercise. But there is a little bit of a difference in maybe how we would use these, or what image we might want to call up in our mind. And it is a little bit hard, though, too, to explain the difference because they're, again, maybe 80% similar. And so for example, to cover that similarity, if we said, Ich treibe Sport, we could be talking about running, we could be talking about weightlifting. Or if you're talking to someone who said something like, oh, Ich trainiere gerne, I like to train, he might be talking about lifting weights, he might be talking about going running. So it covers the same sort of activities. You might say, I'm going to go do this, like we might say, I'm going to go exercise. He might be doing the same activities, but if we sort of look it up, the difference between them is that trainieren has more of a goal in mind. You're going out, you're intentionally training and practicing to work up for something. So like if we were working for a marathon, so we might say, I'm going to go training. I'm going to do this run today, this run the next day. You have sort of a plan for how you're going to progress. Whereas just Sporttreiben, you're going out, you're maybe playing some basketball, you're going on a jog for fun, but there's no build-up, there's no purpose to it, you're just doing the exercise for the fun or benefits of the exercise itself. Then we have das Gewicht heben, is the word given to you in the vocabulary list, and that does mean weightlifting, but it's a noun, so think about it like football or soccer. So we can't just say ich Gewicht heben, because we're just saying, it'd be like saying I soccer, I football. The verb is actually identical, which can make it a little bit confusing. Gewichte heben, or I guess not totally identical, but almost the same. And we break it up into its different forms. Gewichte is weights, and heben is the verb. So if we break that word apart, we can say ich hebe Gewichte, I lift weights. And you can definitely use either one of those, but this form where it's sort of broken up into its part, Gewichte heben, and I sort of abbreviated there because I ran out of room, but know that it should have the en like any verb would end with. You can use either one of those, but just be careful if we're thinking like this word here, our noun form like you have in the class. Gewicht heben, it was a noun, it's an object, so we have to add a verb to that sentence. Okay, going on, I know we're taking a long time to go through all these, but whenever we write our vocabulary list, there's sort of a standard form we list things in, and we always put the verb at the end of any sort of stock phrase. Like we might say, einen Pony haben. And I think I messed up there because I should have had a different end. You should have had the einen there. Sorry about that. But anyway, when we're looking at these phrases, genug Wasser trinken, einen Pony haben, we always put the verb at the end. So you know what verb it is, but you have to keep in mind you have to move that verb around to wherever it would fit in the sentence. And since we don't know where it would be in the sentence, we just put it at the end when we write our vocabulary lists out. But you have to remember to move it around. And so one common thing I see come up is just plopping these into the sentences as if they have to be in that order. But they don't have to be. Just remember what each one of those words means, what the verb is, and you might have to move it around. Sorry, still so much stuff. And then the last thing, when you're going to be doing your assignment, writing out your paragraph, be sure you plan so you can include everything that's supposed to be there, because we want to be sure we're hitting all our key points. And then also plan around what you can say. What sentences can you make? What words do you know? How can you use what you know to cover the requirements? That's always one thing I want to emphasize. How do you use what you know to communicate those ideas? And planning what order you might say something in, or the lead up to something, can really help you and avoid some of the pitfalls of thinking in English first and then being stuck because you're not sure how to translate it. We want to avoid that word-for-word translating mentality. Okay, danke, tschüss.